Good old Georgie boy George Santos, also known as Anthony DeValder, Katara Ravesh, and now a fourth name, George Sant OnlyFans. That's right. George Santos is back in it with the House Ethics investigation, now revealing where he was spending some of his campaign money, which then was followed by an announcement from Santos himself. So let's jump into it. First up, I missed half of this, apparently, but just a reminder, he was arrested in May on charges of wire fraud, money laundering, and lying to Congress. In October, when there were more important things going on, a superseding indictment added additional charges related to an identity theft and money laundering scheme involving his campaign. So he was already dealing with a lot. Or I should say, the rest of us have been dealing with him quite a bit. But now there's, of course, more. So the House Ethics Committee has found substantial evidence of potential violations of federal criminal law by indicted New York Congressman George Santos, and are referring the matter to the Justice Department. So Semaphore here, writing, the investigative subcommittee found evidence that Santos knowingly caused his campaign committee to file false or incomplete reports with the FEC, used campaign funds for personal purposes. We'll get a little bit more into that one. Engaged in fraudulent conduct in connection with Redstone Strategies LLC, and engaged in knowing and willful violations of the Ethics in Government Act as it relates to his financial disclosure statements filed with the House. The House committee, which, by the way, is headed up by a Republican, unanimously agreed to adopt the investigative subcommittee's report and refer the evidence of Santos's alleged federal violations to the Justice Department. So, where was he spending some of this money? This in the report. He used campaign funds to pay for OnlyFans. We'll get to the others, but OnlyFans, which, in case you don't know, where have you been, is an adult site. I mean, largely, it doesn't have to be, but basically that's what most people use it for. So nothing at all wrong, of course, with supporting your favorites on OnlyFans, but using campaign funds to do so, now we got a problem. Not to mention Botox, which, if you've seen him recently, is not surprising, and Sephora. Okay. You do you. But not mentioned in this tweet is also what's in the report here. He also made an over $4,000 purchase at Hermes, which is like high fashion. They sell handbags mostly. $4,000 for a handbag or something else, some other item at Hermes, or as Tony Soprano calls it, Hermes. This is quite a purchase to make with campaign funds. People gave you money to support your campaign. You know what? I'm gonna go buy a handbag. Completely insane. Not to mention, the Botox, the OnlyFans, but this is the OnlyFans. I mean, depending how much he was spending there, I can't imagine it was around $4,000. So this is probably the biggest purchase he made with this, or maybe the Botox was. I don't know. I'm not sure how much Botox is, but that's insane. It's insane that he did this and thought he would get away with it. So this came out after Semaphore broke this story. George Santos says he won't seek re-election. He will not run for re-election following the report. Santos' conduct, quote, warrants public condemnation, is beneath the dignity of the office. Considering the people that are in office right now and have been in office, like Donald Trump, I don't know if it's really beneath the dignity of the office. That said, they also go on to write, and has brought severe discredit upon the House. The committee said Thursday. They said that Thursday, yes. My cadence is all off here. House Ethics Committee Chairman Michael Guest told CQ Roll Call said he would file a motion to expel Santos this week, setting up a vote for when lawmakers return from Thanksgiving recess. So likely expelled after Thanksgiving. The ranking Democrat on the committee, Susan Wild, of course, said she would support it. But Santos is not to be outdone because, of course, he's screw you, screw your expulsion. I'm leaving. So he goes on to whine here. Like very Trumpian, in a very Trumpian post, talking about how he's the victim. Disgusting politicized smear based on facts, things that you actually did and have been exposed through the investigation, the many investigations into your illegality. But sure, a smear. Smear implies things are made up or are blown out of proportion. Everything in there in the investigation, all facts. This guy's a criminal and has been for years, apparently. But again, goes on to complain. And then, I'm not going to read this because if you want to read this, you can. But why would I waste your time? It's just him, pulling a Trump here. Going on to eventually write, I will, however, not be seeking re-election for a second term in 2024, as my family deserves better than to be under the gun from the press all the time. Does Santos have a family that is really involved in his life right now? I mean, he has 3 names, so maybe he has 3 different families. But really, this Santos clearly is someone who only cares about himself. If one thing is clear out of all of this, it is that George Santos is a narcissist. Very clear. So I don't think he's all that concerned about what his sister or mom, who, by the way, I'm jumping in later to insert this because I forgot this while I was recording, his mom, not alive, and he claims his mom was in the towers on 9/11 when she actually died from cancer. Don't think he cares all that much about his family. But back to the video. It's not about his family. Ridiculous. Then he goes on to write, public service life was never a goal or a dream, but I stepped up to the occasion when I felt my country needed it most. Oh, oh, thank you, sir. Thank you for your service. God, I will 100% continue to maintain my commitment to my conservative values in my remaining time in Congress. Get me that Botox. All right. Just ridiculous. What a clown. I guess this ends the saga of Santos. I'm not sure where we go from here. He's going to be out. I guess he isn't out yet, but he's going to be out. Going to be expelled and not running. So goodbye, George Santos.